This really makes me feel better. This really kind of balances me out. I've always been kind of really like high energy type
Yeah.
of dude, you know?
Yep.
And meth doesn't make me tweak, like, you know what I mean? It's like that Ritalin type of thing.
Kind of levels you.
It totally levels me. That's why, again, I stayed 20 years, bro. Think of this, 20 years of shit, of crystal meth.
Yeah.
20, chasing a sack. Not 5, not 10, 20 active years.
Yep.
And I'm still alive. You know what I mean? So that kind of tripped me out too. So I'm like, I'm not doing this for fun. This is my medication.
This is Rock Bottom with Ryan. No sugarcoating, no filters. The pain, the chaos, the truth. No bullshit. Just recovery.
Hey everyone, just wanted to thank you for watching another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. This episode is brought to you by Sober Strong Apparel. Sober Strong Apparel makes heavyweight premium gear for people who take sobriety seriously. 10% of every order goes back to recovery centers. Sober Strong also runs an impact sponsorship program that puts gear directly into facilities for people just starting out. So if you're sober or sober curious or have a loved one who's sober, check out SoberStrongApparel.com. Use the code ROCKBOTTOM for 15% off. It used to be 10%, now it's 15% for a discount. And they have amazing clothes. I love what this company stands for. The quality is incredible. I mean, you can get these banners, you can get hoodies, you can get hats right here. No poison, no compromise. I mean, it's amazing. Love this brand. Love what it represents. Stay sober. Stay true. Rep the crew. Thanks for watching. Enjoy this episode.
All right, welcome to another episode of Rock Bottom with Ryan. I'm here today with Action Jackson. Jackson, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Good, Ryan. Good to meet you, bro.
Good to see you too. So this is a recovery podcast. I'm happy that I can be in LA to interview you today, have you be a part of my show. I know we've kept in touch ever since you reached out to me after I started the podcast, and you said you really liked the No BS Just Recovery, and you're like, hey, you and I would click. So I just want to ask some simple questions to start out. What's your sober date? Where you're from? And what were your drink or drug of choice?
Right on. All right. So, Jackson, I'm alcoholic. Sobriety date, clean date, May 8th, 2015. He said God is full credit for that one. It had nothing to do with me at all. It was my desire to die as a dope fiend. But literally, I had resigned to that idea. But since I started, realized that sobriety date needed to be more than just a sobriety date, I changed it somewhere along the line to my responsibility date. So I kind of represent, it's 10 years later. It's like May 8th, 2015. That's my responsibility date.
I like that. I've never heard that said before. But it does require us to be responsible and to take it one day at a time. But that whole 24-hour period requires a lot of responsibility, commitment each hour. So awesome. So want to hear a little bit about your kind of upbringing first. Like what was it like growing up with parents and all that? What was the dynamic and what led into like your first use?
Yeah, it's funny, man, because I grew up in Jersey, born and raised in Jersey, single mom family. I got one sister, never really knew my dad at all. I think I met him for the first time when I was 19 years old. But again, we clicked all right. He's my dad, whatever. I don't hold any type of resentment or anything on him or anything. But again, the streets of Jersey, born and raised. And like I said, it was a cool upbringing. Really, my childhood was pretty cool. I remember my first drink. It's so weird because I share this a lot to people because it's like, say, my first slice of pizza, my first cheesesteak, my first steak, my first hot dog. I can't tell you, but I remember that first shot of Seagram 7. That tells me something was set off. And even before that, like I said, as a kid, I remember begging my mom for little beers that she used to keep in the refrigerator. So I don't know if it was predestined to be alcoholic or drug addict, but yeah, that was how it was. But again, I've always said that my childhood was awesome. I mean, like I said, I had my share of school suspensions, acting, a clown in school class clown, some fights here and there, but totally, just like I said, it was a pretty cool childhood. Yeah.
Were your parents, were they big drinkers? Were you around it very much?
Yeah, so like I said, I didn't know my father at all, but my mom, I know my mom used to throw some parties. And I remember, I love sharing this one. She used to have friends over and they used to walk around with their glasses and they used to always like wiggle their glass with the ice in it. And I remember saying, why do they keep wiggling the glass, the ice? And I remember telling, they're like, that keeps the drink cold. And again, why am I remembering these type of things,
Little details.
But yeah, it was really cool. She had parties all the time, and it was like, go to your room or go to the room, and we'd sneak back out, and me and my sister, and then we'd go back in. But yeah, definitely, my mom was definitely a party girl. Definitely a party girl. God rest her soul. She's passed away since, but God rest her soul.
And I apologize. You weren't familiar with your dad very much.
Mhm.
Did you ever hear like about his history? If he was,
Yeah, my sister got to know him when I joined the military. I joined the military in 1988, and my sister went off to college, and she lived with him out in Philly. And so I got to know a little bit. We talked on the phone a couple of times and found out, yeah, he was alcoholic as well. But at the time that I met him, he had, was on the wagoner. He wasn't practicing recovery to my knowledge. But again, he related to the fact that I was alcoholic because I shared with him my challenges like later on in life, probably like around 2000, I want to say like 2010, 2011.
okay.
We had actually started talking a little bit. I was here in California. He was in Philly still. But this is like the last leg of his life. He passed away
Yeah.
in 2012. Yeah, 2012, my dad. But by between like 2011, 2012, we had a pretty good dialogue with each other. We shared the fact, I'm, you know, struggling with substance abuse and drinking, but he related. He was very supportive, and it was just more like a relationship that we had.
That's
Um,
cool that you were able to
Mhm.
strike up somewhat of a
Oh,
relationship
yeah.
before his passing and all that.
Totally, yeah.
So
Same thing with my mom as well. Again, I was able to, they both passed away while I was, in my sobriety. So
that's great. That's
yeah.
amazing. So how did your mother pass away? And
I had
sorry for
a
your loss.
Yeah, thank you so much. Because
Yeah,
my mom was a big, she was a big cheerleader for me in recovery. Put her through all kinds of hell, I guess you could say. She definitely prayed me in here, but the relationship that we had was so awesome. And she passed. She had a stroke. She had a stroke, and it was, it scared me and my sister. But it turned out she managed it, or not managed it, but she was able to come out of it. But she had aphasia, which is like her whole right side of her body was paralyzed. So she ended up going into a nursing care, or one of those care facilities, for like the last 4 years of her life. And we were really hopeful that, she was going to come out of it, but unfortunately she wasn't. But, the last like 3 years, we'd go visit her. I'd go visit her, and she couldn't talk. She
wow,
she could understand, but she couldn't talk, and that was really hard for me. My daughter got to meet her and everything as well. I have a 17-year-old daughter now as well.
awesome.
But yeah, but she got to meet her grandma, and like I said, my mom could see,
Yeah,
she could see, she could think, and again, she knew all about Stay Stop too.
that's
Yeah,
great.
she
That's
definitely
awesome.
knew
I'm sure
that.
she heard all about it,
Yeah,
and I'm sure
yeah,
she was proud of you. If she could
absolutely.
say it.
That's
And
one thing I'm so glad I'm able to honor her today and maintain this sobriety, this new life in recovery. Absolutely.
yeah, that's what I say doing my podcast and just trying to reach people with my own recovery and everything. Feel like a lot of it has to do with my little sister passing away of an overdose. I like to
Yeah,
think that she's up there watching over me. She's proud of me.
totally.
She knows I'm standing up for people like her, and bringing out awareness, and we're doing it for them. And so, yeah, so like as you started kind of sipping a little bit, say in your teen years and stuff, you're getting into trouble a little bit. How did it escalate into, say, more things like drinking more drugs,
Well,
stuff like that?
that's a cool question because this brings me to reflect this up, because, like I said, it was a great childhood. I was 2 weeks before I graduated. I decided, I'm going to join the military. It was like literally last minute type of thing. I thought about it, and I was graduating, and the recruiter came through, and he's like, "Okay, look, what are you going to do with your life?" So I decided I'm going to join the military. I went into the army, and June of 1988.
You were how old then?
18 years old.
18.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was 18 years old. And again, super party hard all through high school, like house parties, everything, like
Yeah.
full on. Shout out to Pat Hamilton and Dan Riley.
All right. Shout out.
My guys back over there, they know me well. Carmen Diaz. So again, so those guys were really like my buds out there. But when I left for the military, drinking slipped in again, even more.
Well, military, it's a huge
even more.
part of
But
the
again,
military.
I thought like the way I partied, through high school, that was minor leagues.
Yeah.
When I got into the military, I just like tripled.
Really?
And it was weird because you go through basic, everything is cool, everything is strict. You get to your first duty station and it comes alive. It's like you realize all the freedom, and you're off at 4 o'clock, and the weekends come, and we were the weekend warriors for sure.
Really?
Yeah. So it really escalated really big through, say, like 89, 90, 91.
So like 18 to 21-ish.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
pretty bad.
By the time I was 21,
holds barred.
it was really bad. I had to go to Ozzy, Anthrax concerts. I was a real heavy metal guy.
Wow.
And you wouldn't think of it, but I was in the Motley Crue, Metallica. And I'd go to those concerts with a bottle of Jack in one hand and a bottle of Coke in the other hand. And that bottle of Coke had to go back, and it just went rampant when I was in the military, and so much so.
Thanks for your service, by the way.
I appreciate your support. Yeah, but like I said, I went to Desert Storm. And when I came back from there, again, drinking even more and more. And then I got stationed in Germany. And again, that was even more.
Yeah.
And I actually, when I left my duty station in Germany, came into Arizona, and even more again. And that's how I actually ended up going out of the military on a general discharge for substance. It was I'd popped hot on a. And again, I hated this part. This was like the worst part because I was like, oh my God, I just re-enlisted. I was in for 4 years. I just re-enlisted for another 4 years because I was going to do the deal, even though, it was just really, I felt safe in the military, but I did not expect to this thing. I was out partying one night or one weekend, and this girl met a girl, and she gave me a little piece of rock, and I had never done any type of like cocaine or anything before. It was just strictly drinking. And she gave me this rock, and I was just like, boom, and I popped it in my mouth thinking nothing of it. That Monday
And it
morning.
was crack, I assume?
It was cocaine. That Monday morning, I tested urinalysis tests, but that test wouldn't come back until 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So I'm like thinking nothing of it.
Yeah.
And they called me into the CO's office, a couple weeks later, and they're like, you tested positive for substance 2, cocaine. I'm like, what? I was like, what?
Yeah.
And they were like, we're going to reduce you.
You had no
down.
suspicion that it was happening. You probably forgot about it at that point.
Totally oblivious. It was just like, I threw that rock down like nothing. Tested nothing. Yeah, so they gave me the option. They said, okay, look, we're going to bust you down to E1. I was at E4. I was like, E1. I'm like, oh my God, I just re-enlisted. I'm 5 years in. And they're like, E1. But if you want, you could take what they call an early out. And I'm like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to California. This is 1993 at this point. This is 1993. I'm like, I'm going to California. I'm just going to go do whatever I want to do. I was like, the death grip was on me. And I just wanted freedom to go do whatever I wanted to do.
And you just felt like it was, did you feel like being in the military for, you said 5 years?
Yeah.
Did it give you some type of like structure that you could bring in?
It really did. But like I said, when that dirty test came up, it just threw my life into a tailspin.
Yeah.
And instead of handling it responsibly and dealing with the consequences of it, I shifted right into self-centered mode. And I said, look, I want to get out. I took the early out. I took a general discharge, and I was on my way. And it was like no penalties or anything. It was just like, okay, you're free and clear. As long as, like I said, my concern, I'm not going to get a dishonorable, because that was my concern. But I really regretted it about 2 years later after I got out. I got out here to California, and I'm like, what did I do? Because again, I was still 93, 94. I was still in there. At the end of 94 is when the drink turned into crystal meth.
Wow. So okay, I want to hear how that.
Yeah.
And what year was that, 94?
That little transition was.
So, yeah, I want to hear about that.
That little transition, again, blindsided me as well, because again, I was just a drinker. I
Yeah.
drink and I smoke weed a little bit, but I was just like a drinker. I like to get a little bit of buzz on and go out there, hit the nightclub. I was, dancing and all this stuff, and met a girl. Again, it's always a girl.
Always a girl, man. They
Always a
corrupt us
girl. What are you
sometimes. Yeah.
guys doing? Blame it on the girls. But
Yeah.
yeah, I met a girl and she was like, "Hey, we're gonna go shoot some pool. Come on over." And we're like, "Oh, come by the house before we go." And went by our house, and they were doing lines, and I'm like, "What's that? What are you guys doing?" And she's like, "Just try it. It's some shit." They call
Yeah.
it shit.
A little bit of ice or something.
Yeah, nobody call it meth back.
Yeah.
In 90 and
Yeah.
90. So this is like 95, 94. It's like 94.
Yeah.
No one called it meth or crystal. It was shit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't want to curse.
Yeah, take some. No, you can cuss as much as you want.
I'm not. That's another thing. I'll tell you about that
Try
later.
to
But
avoid cursing.
yeah, profanity. I'll excuse that. So anyway, some shit, go and try it. I'm like, nah, I'm good. Nah, I just got my drink. I had some bud at the time, and she's like, just try it. She goes, "Oh, you can smoke it if you want." Oh my god. I'm like, oh, for real? And came to smoke. The last pipe came in, and you can have that alcohol. You can have that weed. This is it. Like literally, Ryan, it was it. I could function. I could feel. Just took me right to
You were
that
thinking
place
clearly.
immediately, and I could just, and it was undetectable because I wasn't like stumbling or nothing like that.
Yeah.
Super functional with it.
You felt like Superman, like a lot of people do.
It didn't get. It wasn't because it was still new. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I had no idea the progression that it would take.
Yeah.
So like I said, 94, 95,
Yeah.
96,
Mhm.
97. No problem. Super functional.
Yeah.
I'm a licensed insurance agent. I'm going to work with a suit and tie, and I'm a weekend. I'll party Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
So were you a weekend warrior as far as the meth
Yeah,
use?
exactly.
Oh, okay.
Again, and I was considering myself functional with it, Ryan, because
Yeah.
that's the thing about the drugs that when I got on, I was never supposed to be an alcoholic. I was never supposed to be a drug addict. Again, I just want to do a little here and there, get that feel, and then get back to what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that this disease, this substance would take over me and just infiltrate the way it did. I didn't understand the whole allergy concept, how it was such a progressive deal.
Did it ever get to the point where you were starting to do it, because I'm sure you hit crashing points every now and again after a long weekend. Were you starting to use it to function at work and stuff?
Once again, it started off, it was just like, okay, it was like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, chill.
Yeah.
Then it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, chill.
Yeah.
Then it was Wednesday.
That's how it was with me.
Bro, and I really remember thinking to myself, I can see this because I needed it at this point, like every single day. So this is like 94. So from like 95, 96, 97, 98, it was every single day. And then 1998, 98 is when it really started, going downhill.
Any suspicions from work or friends that weren't outside of them?
Nothing at all. But 98 kicked in. So realistically, from 94 to 98, I was under the radar. And that's how this disease works. It'll get you so hooked into thinking that you're controlling it. And that's where, again, I'm completely oblivious to it. So there's a lot of, if you're new, or if you're kind of like, there's a lot of our young kids that are using now, and they may be a year or 2 years into active using, and it may be manageable to them.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, I want to make sure I get the message, because again, it didn't want part of me.
Yeah.
It didn't want this little weekend or this couple days a week type of thing.
Wanted all of you.
It wanted every ounce of my soul, and I had no clue. So if you're new and it hasn't really got its grip on it, they actually speak about that. I want to say, like, on page 33, where you say, if you're under 30 years old, and you may still be able to control it.
Yeah.
But this is a progressive thing. And if you'd have told me that, I would have been like, whatever, bro.
Yeah.
I'm control. I remember driving by rehabs and seeing people outside. I'm like, what's wrong with them?
I'm not going to end up with one of those.
I'm not going to end up like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, so 98, I was on my nosedive down. 99, 2000.
What was the first sign of nosediving? Just doing it every day, or were you starting?
Well, 1998, I totally moved in with one of the cookers, the dude that was cooking, and we had partnered up really well. We had a nice little system going in, and I was dealing, and this something I don't really talk about, but I was dealing. We were cooking, and that's when I knew entered into a whole nother realm because
Okay.
again, I'm now in with the guns and the bats and the robbing and the stealing and it was just like,
So
but
you
again,
quit your job at selling
yeah, I
insurance?
was doing the insurance thing and that was like completely back burner for a minute. But
Yeah.
again, I needed that also. I needed that. So again, I realized that I was getting into a darker area, but I also realized that I really wanted to still be on this other side. So again, so in comes Jackson, the double life. So that's another part of my story, which I really love to talk about because again, that's what I really wanted to do, right? I wanted to have a double life. I want to be professional, got it all together, but I also wanted to be that party guy out
The
there.
party guy and also working with other people,
Yeah,
robbing,
all of
stuff
that
like
stuff,
that.
man. Because the money, the dope. Period. I mean, it was like we got to cook it right there. I didn't have to buy it no more. It was just like bam, right there.
Yeah.
So that life really got it. Shout out to my friend Andy right there. She knows me super duper well. I know she'll be watching this one too. But Andy,
Good.
me and Andy were Bonnie and Clyde, bro.
Really?
We used to like live that life for sure.
Wow. So
But
what was some of the first was it ever, I know you're under the radar, but was it ever getting you into any trouble with other drug dealers or
nope,
the law or anything like
nope.
that?
So I say nope as far as other drugs. But what happened was in 2000. So it goes like this. I love going this timeline. So
Yeah, I like the timeline.
98, 1999, 2000, 2001. I was just getting weirder and weirder with it. Again, I was going hotel to hotel. I lost my apartment in 1998. I lost my apartment. Like I said, I moved in with the dude who was cooking and stayed with him, but it was getting too crazy over at his pad. So I bailed out there. So I started hotel hopping up and down Beach Boulevard. So from like realistically like 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, like 3 years, I was living that hotel life. And I loved that freedom. I was hotel here, hotel, and it was dealing and it was selling. And if it was hanging out with, the ladies of the night type of thing. And then I realized, I got to get back to work. I don't want to live this life, but it took me like 3 years of living like that. And I started trying to going back into insurance sales and everything. And I came right back in because I clean up pretty well. Throw my shirt and tie back on, go back in. I got years and years of experience.
Yeah, you can be like, oh yeah, 3 years. I just
Yeah,
focused on myself.
well,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like literally, like let's go. I'm back at it, and it was like as long as you had a license,
Yeah.
back in like 90, the 2000s even, George, you can get a job instantly.
Yeah.
So again, I'm still trying to do that double life, but the double life is not working. So like 2001, 2002, my employers were starting to notice, some erratic behavior. I'd be in the bathroom, smoke. Oh my God. I remember when I started taking my pipe to work.
Oh, dang.
Ryan,
Yeah.
that again, it was another conscious realization. I'm like, I'm doing this. I can't even go to work and work a 8-hour shift and come home. I needed that. I needed that pipe with me, bro.
Yeah.
Like no exaggeration. I like literally remember that transition when I went to work, and I'm not even gonna tell you where I kept it. I could have just kept it in my pocket, but I was so shot out, I had to put it somewhere else. And good Lord, I remember going to the bathroom and pray, and then I'd go in the bathroom and I'd cough to light my lighter.
Yeah.
So again, I was really gone. But again, I didn't realize it. I was in full
'Cause you're
denial. I was
yeah,
full fright, full, what do you call it? Flight.
psychosis.
It was just, I was not, I'd be riding my bike. The car, every car I got broke down
Mhm.
and I didn't care. I'd jump on a bike or whatever. They didn't have Uber and all this stuff in like
Yeah.
2003, 2004. Again, I was just in a weird spot. 2003, 2004.
You're going to work on your bike, showing up,
Like
smoking in the bathroom and stuff.
sweaty. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were really starting to notice, they're like, what's going on? And like, I remember, oh God, 2004, 2005, those were some weird times. And I was really losing it by this time.
Mhm.
Went into a rehab in 2006.
What made you end up going to the rehab?
Well, let me back up a little bit. In 2004, check this story out. In 2004, I was I was partying over some friend's house, and it was about 11 o'clock. I remember specifically the time. It was like 11 o'clock, and I had like, in my brain, I only had to walk about 3 lights,
Yeah.
but it was really about 6 lights. And it was like 11:30 at night, and I just remember thinking, I'm just gonna take this. I had a little piece of rock that I could have just smoked there and just left, but I'm like, no, I'm taking this little rock back to my house so I can have it for my own self.
Yeah.
So I'm off I go. It's 2004, walking down the street. with a little piece of rock in between my fingers, not even in my pocket, in my fingers. And I'm walking because in my brain, I just got 3 lights to go. We get full flight from reality. So I'm strolling down and I'm walking, cool, no problem. Cops pulled over somebody over on the other side of the street, complete opposite side of the street. And I remember this vividly, Brian. And I go, I'm just going to keep walking over here. They're stopping somebody. And all of a sudden I see the cop pull off and flip a U. And he's coming at me now. He's coming at me. And my brain was just like, no problem. Like literally, I remember process. I'm like, no problem. I said, we're just going to be cool.
Yeah.
And I got this rock in my fingers. So he rolls up on me. Hey, what are you doing? What's going on? And I said, no, I'm just walking back home, just left over with my friends. I'm holding this rock in my fingers. And he goes, you got anything in your pockets or anything? I'm like, no, you can check me. So he went like this and checked, and he felt my pipe right there. I had a pipe in my pocket. So he pulls that out, and then he's like, okay, this is he puts it on the hood of the cop car, and I'm still holding this rock. And he goes, you got your ID on you? And I went to go in my pocket with this hand, and I went in my pocket. He goes, what's that in your hand? And I remember going, and I just opened my hand like this, and he goes, what do you, he goes, why didn't you toss that? And I'm saying this real quick. I'm gonna say this.
You didn't want to miss that hit.
No, like literally, I said that. I go, because I needed it. I didn't say I want. I said, because I need it. I said, because I need it. This is a little piece of rock. He goes, why didn't you toss that? And I was like, I needed it. Wow. And he just shook his head at me, put it out there, went through the whole thing, booked me out. That was my first felony possession for that little piece of rock. Felony possession, 2004. As I got in the car, he was really cool. He was like, we really hope you get the help you need. You hear all these stories about the cops and everything. And I'm Huntington Beach, Anaheim, Buena Park, all over Orange County. I never had problems with cops. You know what I mean? It's a whole nother issue. But they were like, we hope you get the help that you need. Went in there, did some time. They put me in my first drug program. It was going to be a what they call PC 1000. And I'm like, this is stupid. I'm not doing this. So I was in, and then I was out, and then that was the end of that one. 2 years later, I'm back at it again for 2 more years. 2006, I decided, hey, look, I was on probation, and I was testing dirty on probation. I was doing an outpatient deal. Again, I wasn't doing it, bro.
No desire to get
zero.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to play the game, but all my game was control it better or stay lower under the radar. That was my recovery, if you will, which is obviously not. So,
but you're still getting piss tested. Probation officers,
and I'm trying to do the 3-day count the game. I'd go into testing. Some days I'd pull it off. But as soon as I leave that PO, I'm right back smoking again. And so, and that was between like 2005, 2006, and then all of a sudden I decided I was like I'd completely I'd missed.
How old are you at this point?
I'm like, what's that? What am I? So 2006 is at 36, 30, 35, 36. Yeah. So I'm 55 now. So yeah. So either way, 2004, 2005. Okay. Yeah. 30, 35, 36. Yeah. Again, no way, no how I'm stopping. This is, I'm good to go. And this is now I'm 24. I'm 10 years into active using. So I started when I was 24. So yeah. 10 years into it, again, I'm really gone. But again, I'm recognizing, okay, I need to kind of figure out another game plan because this is not working at all. So I was supposed to go test in my PO, and I didn't go test because I knew I was going to be dirty. So I blew it off. I blew off the whole, testing. For 2 weeks, I was kicking it at my friends at a couple hotels here and there. And they're like, you why don't you just go check in? You better check in your PO, check in. I go, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. And again, so one day I had a game plan. I'm like, okay, look, I'm going to go turn myself in, but first I'm going to go to a detox. So again, I'm playing the game, but I'm trying to play this game. And again, if you're new, if you're, you're in that little space, the game doesn't work.
What is it like detoxing off of meth?
Yeah, so that was just sleep, bro.
Just a crash.
Just crash out, sleep, wake up, eat a bunch of candy, crash back out, just sleep it off. Yeah, it was just really like candy land.
Mm-hmm.
But the detox I went to, again, as soon as I got out of that one, I figured, okay, I got to go check in with my PO. Where you been, Jackson? Blah, blah, blah. You should be going to jail right now, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hey, I got a drug problem. They know that. I go, where you been? I was in a detox.
Yeah.
And then I could verify. So from that point here, like, look, we're going to put you in a residential program. So it was my first residential kicked in 2006. Stupid. Again, the mindset, again, it's just so weird when I think about like my whole attitude and my whole mindset with this thing. Because again, I'm not at this point, I'm not doing it for fun. Obviously, I need meth to balance me. I'd found a substance that really worked with me. Even though I was getting out of control sometimes, I could reel it back in after I crashed out
Yeah.
for a couple of days.
You can always reset, kind of like
Reset.
me and drinking, whenever
Yeah.
it got out of hand, to be like, I'll just tone it down.
Reset,
But then it
bro.
would just go in a cycle.
But again, for be done for good and for never? No, not
Yeah.
at all. Oh, again, so 2006, they're like, okay, we're going to put you in a residential. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not going, at least I don't got to go to jail. Let's go do the whole residential thing. So I did a 90-day residential program. Again, it was interesting. It was interesting. I did a little bit of NA at that time as well. Got out, and I'm like, okay, we're going to maintain it here. Right back to work. Right back to work again. Forget the recovery program. I'm not doing no meetings. I got to get back to work is what I need to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, back to work in another insurance agency, 2006. In comes my daughter's mother. And I had like 3 months clean, and we had reconnected. Shout out to Jessica, my daughter, Gianna.
Was you and your ex, did you guys meet during using, or was
We met, actually, my daughter's mother, we met when I was in the military back in 92. And we had left and parted ways and everything, and we reunited in 2006. I had 3 months sober,
Huh.
and I was like, yeah, I was like real stoked. And I'm like, yeah, she had no clue. She
Mhm.
didn't have no, but I was just like so
Yeah.
stoked about it and so
Yeah.
stoked to reconnect with her. And she's like, I'm coming out to California. I'm like, yeah, let's get together. Da, da, da. I'm 3 months. And she ended up moving out here with me. And I'm like, we're gonna do this. I'm gonna chill. Everything is gonna be good. Decided to have my daughter. My daughter was born in 2008, but in 2006, 2007, again, I was really trying to do the deal, but I was still started dipping again.
Yep.
And she didn't know, but I started dipping again. And when my daughter was born, I was for sure. I'm like, I'm done.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm done. I'm still not doing no programs or any.
Yeah.
No, I'm just done. Okay, I'm just gonna quit. I'm just gonna quit again. My daughter. Okay, my daughter's gonna be born.
Yeah.
Nope. 7 more years. Again, I'd be right back out from the time my daughter's when I remember leaving the house one day, and she knew my daughter's going, Jessica, she's like, I know where you're going. She said that to me. She goes, I know where you're going. And that kind of pissed me off a little. I'm like, you don't know where I'm going. She goes, yes, I do.
Where were you going?
She knew exactly where I was going. I'm like, look, I'll be back in a little bit. And I remember, so good. I walked down the steps and boom, here comes a stroller over from the thing. And I'm like, what are you? And I'm like, blaming, you're crazy. So I left. I drove 20 minutes down to other friend's house and where I'm going to get loaded again, of course.
Yeah.
And I proceeded to tell the whole story, how crazy she was. And here I am leaving my daughter's mother, my infant child, but she's the crazy one.
Totally.
So,
Not
so
taking
again, little
accountability.
stuff like that. It's sad to reflect back, but again, it's part of my story, bro. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like literally part of it. And I reflect on it now. I'm like, God, man, I had no idea just how lost I was. So this is 2008 now. Again, I'm going to be done. I'm going to really try to get it together. But again, now I'm going to go back to my double life mode. Double life mode, I thought could work for me, bro.
Mhm.
I really thought I could pull it off because again, I'd already done the wild, crazy stuff. So I'm like, I'm not going back that bad. I'm going to stay over here. I got a daughter now. I'm going to be a dad. I'm going to be a responsible employee, and I'm going to just, manage it better. I'm going to control it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that didn't work. 2008, 2013.
Do you remember what was going through your head when you would start to manage but then fall off? Was it always the same thing? Just kind of, was it boredom or just thinking you could control it?
It was just really just a feeling that like this does the job. This really makes me feel better. This really kind of balances me out. I've always been kind of really like high energy type
Yeah.
of dude,
Yep.
and meth doesn't make me tweak, like, what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like that Ritalin type of thing.
Kind of levels you.
It totally levels me. That's why, again, I stayed 20 years, bro. Think of this, 20 years of shit, of crystal meth.
Yeah.
20, chasing a sack. Not 5, not 10, 20 active years.
Yep.
And I'm still alive. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that kind of tripped me out too. And so I'm like, I'm not doing this for fun. This is my medication. So again, I tried to really explain that to Jessica, but yeah, no, you're a drug addict. you're weak. That's what she said. You're weak. And
You
I'm
hate
like,
to hear that as a drug
yeah.
addict. It's like, I already feel low enough right now.
So again, I went to another rehab. I'd taken off. I'd taken her car, and I was completely just abandoned. And I used to abandon my family a lot. So like 2012, we moved into a new apartment. I abandoned.
Hmm.
2013, we moved to another place. I abandoned.
When you would abandon, where would you go? Usually just friends'
Hotel,
houses.
another
Okay.
hotel, somebody else, and they'd be there left. I'd make sure, hey, you need any money? Boom, I'd shoot them some money, whatever. Or I'd stop by, drop off some money, and keep it moving. Where you going? Where you going? Don't worry about it. Just here.
And
You're
you'd be
taking
hanging out with drug dealers, other
yeah,
addicts,
other
women of
girls.
the night. Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally it. That was because again, that double life. I was trying to do it, but
Yeah.
the disease, it doesn't want the half of me.
That doesn't want you to be
It doesn't.
successful.
My brain was telling me, look, mom's taking care of the kids just fine. As long as she's got money, don't worry about what I'm doing. In my mind, I'm keeping them away from me.
Yeah, you're doing them
But
a favor.
yeah, but yeah, because this is not what you want to see. But again, it just ran on and on and on. So again, multiple abandons, moving to apartment, abandoned, moving to apartment, abandoned. And then 2013, it was like ultimatum. You're
Mhm.
not coming back home at all. And I remember going back thinking, what are you talking about? My name's on the lease.
Yeah.
What do you like? How would you even say that? And I remember this so clear. And the police, she had a restraining order. She's like, the police was like, you can't go back. I'm like, what do you mean? My name's on the lease. They're like, yeah, but you've been gone for X amount of days. And once you've been gone for some X amount of days, you're considered like abandoned or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, so they made a stipulation. If you want to come back home, go do a 30-day program. So off I go in 2013 to, and this is where the story gets really awesome now.
Mm-hmm.
So 2013, I'm in San Diego. I'm in Veterans Village. So now I'm thinking, okay, I'd already been I was in a outpatient program. I did a detox, and then I did another rehab program. So now this is rehab number 4 at Veterans Village, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm thinking, okay, cool. I'm with some veteran brothers. We're going to lock this down now.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to stop playing. My daughter's 5 years old now, 2018.
Yeah, getting to the point where she'll remember everything now.
So she's 5 years old now, and I'm really clear. Like I'm far, far gone at this point.
Yeah.
So I'm at Veterans Village. I'm going to do this 30-day program. So I went in there, and shout out to 449 Recovery as well, because they referred me to Veterans Village, and that was like the best thing ever. And I stayed there for 5 months. And I thought in my mind, okay, look, I'm going to do my best to maintain it right now. I'm going to do my best. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to stay stopped. Now watch this.
Yeah.
Back up. So 2013, when I'm in that rehab, one of the facilitators says, you drug addicts, you guys, alcoholics, you guys stop all the time. You just don't know how to stay stopped. So that was the very first time I heard stay stop at that rehab in 2013. Veterans Village, San Diego. Shout out to the fullest. Veteran brothers, much love. But these guys were in there and they meant business. And the lady, one of the other facilitators, she goes, out of all 10 of you guys that are in here, she goes, only one of you is going to stay sober. And those statistics are real statistics, bro.
That's scary.
And watch this, and I didn't like that she said that.
Mm.
That bothered me because I said, that's pretty negative.
Yeah.
I said, why would you say that to us? We're all sitting in here
Assuming we're
trying
gonna
to
fail.
Yeah. I said, yeah, right. And that's what I shifted to. Needless to say, it wasn't me because I did not maintain it, but I was clean for 5 months. And I remember I talked to my daughter's mother, every single night. And it was just like one more month.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I'm already at 5 months. I said, I got to get back to work. I need to take care of my family.
Yeah.
And that's what my plan actually was. I'm good. I'm good. Like it wasn't like I had a reservation. I heard the dude say, you guys just don't know how to stay stopped. And that kind of registered to me. And I wrote stay stopped in my little notebook. And I was working an NA program. I had a sponsor and everything. And I was really interested in the deal. I was interested in it. And they told me, hey, look, when you leave here, make sure you get connected. Because I was in San Diego and I had to go back, about 2 hours north and make sure you get reconnected. Yeah, whatever. My brain said, look, I need to just get back to work. So a lot of people and I hope if they hear us, if they're in rehab, again, coming out of rehab, Okay, you got to find something to connect to recovery. You got to continue this. This is a daily ongoing thing, which I
Yeah. Because you
do
weren't
it
having the same attitude as you did before, where you're like, oh, I'm going to get out, I'm going to go to work, but I'm going to do it my own way. This time it was different.
different. And again, I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure I'm going to go check out this meeting thing. Then I remember going to one meeting and I walked in and I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
Nope, not. And I remember, and then that was enough for me to go, I tried it. That was all I needed. One meeting, walk in, this is stupid. Boom. Again, and I always had that attitude, recovery's stupid. Recovery's stupid. Like literally, I've maintained that attitude for the longest time, which is I'm glad I thought of that right now because I want so bad, Ryan. I think I spoke to you about this. I'm trying to change the narrative. The narrative right now is, fight addiction. Addiction is so terrible.
Yeah.
But it's not, bro. Again, that's normal living for us.
Yep.
Everybody that's a drug addict, a dope fiend, alcoholic, that's normal living for us.
Mm-hmm.
We know how to navigate that world.
Yep.
Go get some dope, come on back. Go get your bottle, come on back and kick it. No responsibility, low key, boom. It's your problem, not my problem.
Yep.
I'm not bothering you. Leave me the freak alone. Disconnected isolation. That's it. That's addiction in a nutshell. What my problem was, I don't know how to handle sobriety. So now the narrative, and I'm hoping that 2026 we can get this out there. The narrative is let's learn how to handle sobriety. Sobriety has a stigma. Recovery has a stigma.
They all have stigmas.
Okay. It's all this time it's been addiction, the stigma of addiction. You're an addict, you're an alcoholic, da, da, da. No, the problem is, okay, I'm trying to live a life responsibly now. And that's where I'm not too familiar with that. My mindset has always been I could do whatever I want to do. And that's not the attitude to have. So I'm trying to learn. And that's why, like I said, when I was in San Diego and I heard that stay stop thing, the whole deal is okay. I wrote it down, but I didn't understand the context or the depth of that statement. But when I heard it, it hit me enough to say I wrote it down. So 2013, boom, I'm still trying to maintain it. I think I was, like I said, for 5 months, 2013. Yeah, 2013. 6 months came around, month number 6, and I was back working insurance again. And I remember sitting in the office and I just had a great day and I'm looking around in the office and it's just me. I always had my own little office and I'm looking around in the office and I'm like, and the thought, like literally the thought popped into my head. That thought was this: just go smoke a bowl. Go smoke a bowl, kick it for 2-3 hours. Don't bring no freaking dope home. Don't buy no dope. Just go over to the spot where you know it's at and just go kick it, smoke a couple bowls, and then get your butt up and get back.
Yeah.
No one will know the difference. And this came out of new. I'm 6 months, 6 months into this.
It's a long period of time.
And the idea again, so I had a 30-minute drive where I was living. I had a 30-minute drive. And that 30-minute drive, let me tell you, every thought in my mind that said don't do it was nowhere to be found. My only thought was 2 hours, 3 hours max. Right back. 2 hours, 3 hours back, right back. It was, there was no interference that said, don't do this, bro. You got 6 months. Don't do this. Nowhere to be found. That switch had all the way ignited. So interesting because again, that's why it's like I share with newcomer guys that, guys that I sponsor and I share with them, it's no surprise if you relapse. Okay, you're only doing what we always do. So I'm not even, and they get so like, oh, I messed up, bro. I messed up. I go, bro, get off of that. Who cares? Do you want to get back up and keep moving forward? And I tell them, who cares? They do this day counting thing, and I get it, but the emphasis is it ain't how many times I fell down. It's how many times you're going to get back up.
Exactly.
And people get so discouraged if they relapse. And if you relapse, you're going to keep relapsing until you don't. That's just that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I want to make this clear. My whole focus now is how can I learn? How can I begin to learn how to engage in recovery more? Stay stop thing is hitting, and I'm like trying to figure out what's the deal. I want to jump too far, but I want to jump to 2015 because 2015 started from 2013. So 2013, I heard Stay Stop. 6 months into that 2013 recovery, I go back to the Connect to relapse. Again, no whatsoever. I'm just gonna keep it under the radar. That was the game plan. Keep it under the radar. And I remember going into the connection. She's like, "My God, where you been, Jackson? It's been so long." Blah, blah, blah. I said, "Yeah, it's been 6 months." And I said, "Yeah, I tried this recovery thing." I said, "It's stupid." I would always say every time I went to rehab and got out, every single time that was my same statement.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Stupid. It's
It's lame. It's total stupid. Well, because that's because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know how to live responsibly. I
Mhm.
knew how to do whatever I want to. So she goes, "Because you look good." And I go, "Man, let's just pack a bowl. Come on." She's like, "What?" She looked at me like, "Are you kidding me right now?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Look," I said, "this is what I do."
Yeah.
I said, "Look, this is what I do." I said, "I've tried it for 6 months. It's stupid. I said, let's pack a bowl." And she threw the sack of dope on the bed. She goes, "You do it." I picked up that pipe as quick as I could. I picked up that dope as quick as I could. And I packed my bowl and I hit that thing, ease and comfort immediately. Immediately. And you know what I said to her? My right-handed God. I said, "You should," I go, "Oh my God." I go, "You should take a break. You should take a break for 6 months and then try it because it's the best feeling ever." Where did that come from? And in other words, that feeling, that sensation that I got after not using for 6 months, immediate is paradise. And I'm telling you, I proceeded to hit that thing. And again, I packed it up, everything, probably about like, I want to say like 6, 7 hours later. I'm headed back to the house, and again, under the radar, boom. But that little stint from 2013 to 2015, it was again still getting out of control again. Ended up 2015. I don't know if you're gonna stop in there, but 2015. Yeah, again, I'm full on back at it again every single day using. And,
After that one hit you were just talking to her,
yeah,
that
yeah,
led you down.
exactly.
So you kept
That
smoking right after that?
for 2 years, I was back at it again,
Wow.
still trying to be low key with it.
Mhm.
But again, it was just not. I was in the bathroom for 3, 4 hours at a time. Again, I wasn't doing I wasn't trying to go back to work. I was, it was just like
Yeah.
I was just back at it.
How'd your relationship towards the end there with your other half?
Shot
And-
out, bro.
Yeah.
It was just all shot out. It was like nowhere. It was just like I was just a body in the house, mostly in the bathroom. The kids were again at this point. My son, he's my stepson. He was 10 years old at the time. My daughter was 7 years old by this time. And again, they were oblivious to what I was doing. But at the same time, what's he doing? Kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Again, I'm in the bathroom. That was my little hideout.
But your significant other knew about it, obviously.
She was fully aware, but I was in full denial.
Yeah.
Full denial.
Wow.
Yeah, full denial. And she just knew, but again, full denial.
All
She,
because of that one hit after 6
yeah,
months?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. It took it right out. So the
Wow.
whole episode that happened on May 8th, 2015, again, that's my
I
sobriety.
want to
and it
know
wasn't
all
a-
about that.
Yeah, it wasn't a date that I just woke up and said, "Okay, it's May 8th, 2015. I need to quit
Yeah.
getting loaded. I need to just quit." That's not what my sobriety date today is. Not that. A lot of people, they have those sobriety dates where they just decide on this date they're going to quit. Yeah, not mine at all. That date was the day I got arrested for domestic battery, child abuse, child endangerment, which again is not what I was trying to become. But again, it was just like there was an interference going on. And again, I'm trying to keep it under the radar, but you keep on trying to see what's under my radar
Yeah.
type of a thing. And I'm like, why are you, and I was getting really agitated with that one. And so it's just like, man, one morning I laying in the bed and just kind of waiting for them to all go. And it all just broke loose. It's like that was the morning, May 8th, 2015. Mom, the kids, everybody just got crazy. And I ended up throwing my daughter's mother on the bed and pillow, my arm in her neck, trying to just choke her out type of thing.
Wow.
Kids are yelling. Pure chaos had erupted that morning, May 8th, 2015. And I had my police report, which I just pulled that out, found that I was going to share that with you. But I tell you, I looked at the police report and it was dated May 11th. So she had written it. Jessica wrote that police report. It was like he's basically saying all the things that I did. And one of the things he said is, and Jackson screamed, "I don't care if I go to the blackest of hell or to the deepest of hell." And then he's like, "I can't control myself." This is me just like yelling.
Yeah.
And I remember saying these things, but I don't know why I would say I don't care if I go to the deepest hell. That, when I reread that again, I remember saying it, but I go, what the heck kind of state of mind was I in to say that in front of the kids and my family? And this is after me trying to
Yeah, you're
choke her
obviously
out. Yeah. Because she was really trying to get me to stop like yelling at the kids. And I'm thinking I'm trying to help you. Long story short, man,
Was it the chaos around you that made you snap that morning?
it was the chaos around it made me snap because again, the kids or Angel, my son, he wasn't listening and I went in there to try to intervene as the, controlling father figure type of thing and ended up poking him in the head saying, you need to listen to your mom type of a thing. And he fell out and she thought I hit him and she just went crazy on me and I grabbed her and then we started tussling and then the kids are screaming and yelling. And it was I just remember screaming and yelling and my brain was thinking the patio
Just
doors
seeing red,
open and
basically.
everyone's hearing this and I'm like, what are you guys? And my brain, I just want everybody to just stop. But it turned into everybody, I don't care if I go to the deepest hell. I said, I can't control myself. And the next thing I know, everyone calmed down. And it was just like my daughter walks in and she's like, Daddy, stop. And I was like, it just kind of really just snapped me out of it. And I walked back out in the living room and got the kids all ready. She got the kids all ready. And I like literally, Brian, I thought I had controlled that situation. I thought I'd handled it.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting back and okay, all the kids and like literally, and the police report, it says, and then he said, have a nice day. Everybody have a good day. Yeah.
It's like you were just back in your element. You're like,
And,
oh, yeah.
and like I said, when
controlled
my
it.
daughter came in, all this stuff is going on. She's screaming, Daddy, stop. Boom. That's what like kind of really just snapped me. So interestingly, that he stopped, again, it was that behavior I was doing. Kind of, I always look at that as, that's part of my stay stop. It wasn't stop drinking and drugging. It was stop this behavior, stop this chaos, stop this. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So when she yelled that, I'm like, boop, that snapped it out of it. It's like I heard Daddy's. So either way,
Wow.
I get arrested that morning, May 8th, 2015. My mindset is she's trying to catch me with drugs, and it was an arrest for domestic battery. Boom. When I get booked into custody, I'm crying because, again, I felt so useless. I felt so hopeless because I can't believe I had gotten to this point. They're booking me into custody at jail, and they said, are you homicidal or suicidal? Again, I just started bawling again because, again, I've been to jail lots of times in between there. Like I said, lots of times again. And to this degree, I was never at this degree right here. The hopelessness that I felt, the complete disappointment, domestic battery, child abuse, child endangerment. What kind of monster had I freaking turned into? So that's why, like I said, when this hit this time, I'm in custody. They asked me, are you homicide or suicide? I wouldn't answer the question deliberately. So they put me in for psych evaluation, ended up putting me in the psych ward. So when I'm in the psych ward, I'm in there, I'm waiting to hear my trial again. They took me into court and they wanted to put me in a drug program. And I'm like, I'm not here for a drug program. Again, right back. Now here's this denial again. Ryan, understand this. I just completely tore my whole family traumatically. And they want to put me in a drug program. I'm like, I'm not here for a drug charge. I said, just let me do my time. So now my brain is already back on that nonsense.
Thinking you're fine.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is the part where I realize that this is why a program of recovery is so crucial, because I can cause all of this chaos, reset, and think it's all good. And now I'm back in control again.
Yep.
So that's why I practice a program of recovery 7 days a week, every single day, because again, I know at any given time, I'll never say I'm never getting loaded again. I'll never say I'm done. Like what I say is, today I don't find it necessary.
Today I'm going to stay stopped.
And the only reason I can stay stopped is because I want to stay under God's grace, because I know that God had something to do with that arrest. I say that, God dispatched the Orange County Sheriff's Department. Those were the angels that really came in and took me into custody, because there was no
Do you remember,
way.
do you know who called the cops that day? Or?
Yeah. So my daughter's mother ended up calling the cops, and they were like, step outside. We got a couple cops here just to talk to you.
Did you flush the meth or
No,
whatever?
because my mindset was like, they're not going to find nothing.
They're not
my brain was like, they're not going to find my dope. There's no way. The way I got it. And I was just like, so sure that you're just going to come in and see I don't have nothing and leave me alone.
Yeah.
Like literally, that's how oblivious.
Yeah. The ego, the confidence.
Yeah, I was completely far. So yeah, she had ended up calling him. She was scared for her life. Ryan, she was scared for her life and the kid's life.
Mm-hmm.
And my brain was like, I'm just trying to control the situation. I didn't understand the degree. I don't care if I go to the deepest of hell and I'm trying to choke her out, yet I'm oblivious to an hour later. An hour later, I'm completely like, okay, everything's okay. So she ended up calling the cops, and that was that. I'm booked into custody. I'm into custody again. They're trying to put me on a drug program. I'm right back into, I'm not here for a drug. Just let me do my time. I'm trying to calculate, okay, domestic battery, da da da. They wanted to give me 3 years.
Trying to get up and out of there.
Yeah, so they're like, they want to give you 3 years, Jackson, or you could do the program. And I'm like, 3 years?
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, 3 years. And I'm still contemplating. Let me just make sure we understand. I'm still contemplating. I don't need a drug program.
Yeah. You're like, I can go back. I can control it.
I don't need 3 years or do a program. And
And you're still thinking about it, like, oh, I can do the time. And stuff.
literally, I'm actually considering this.
Jeez.
So fortunately, I had another veteran brother that was in jail with me and doing the arraignment thing. And he was like, bro, just try the program. Just try it. And then in comes the public defender lady. It ended up being one of the ladies that I was her son's coach, football coach.
Really?
And she came walking in as the public defender. And oh my God, embarrassment. Oh my God, total just shame and guilt. I started crying again. I never cried so much in my life. This round, Ryan, I never cried so much. It was crazy.
You needed to shed some tears, man.
Yeah. So she walks in and she's like, don't worry about it. She goes, we want to help you. We want to help you. And if it hadn't been anybody else besides that lady right there, because I was her son's football coach and I knew her so very well. And that was part of my double life thing. I'm a football coach. I'm a good dad and every single thing I'm trying to maintain. And she walked in, she's like, we'll take care of you. We just want you to try the program. So she said, try the program for 2 weeks. And this is what set me on my course for doing it. So while I'm in custody, the H&I people, remember the H&I Hospitals Institution, they came into the jails and they were like, hey, here's a big book. And I'm like, yeah, see, I'm an addict. I don't need that book. I've done NA before. And they're like, well, here, you could just have it. And I'm start flipping through this book. And my finger catches page 553, which AA taught him how to handle sobriety. And this kind of winds down to where my little war story is. And I finger randomly catches that page 553. And it says, it's no great trick. First of all, it said, God willing, he'll never have to drink again, but he will have to deal with sobriety every day. That was like the intro part. And I'm like, so I did a little finger scan down at the very bottom. Whenever there's italicized words, that always draws my eye to it. And it said, he did quit drinking once for 10 months on his own and another time when he was hospitalized. It's no great trick to stop drinking. The trick is to stay stopped again. So,
okay.
And all of this whole story again.
No, this is like amazing how you're tying it together.
Bro, this is such a tie together type of a thing because my life, again, this is was like a 10 years coming. So 10 years into it, I was lost. So for the next 10 years, I was trying to figure out this whole, how do I stay stopped thing? And I'd heard it in 2013, something clicked. But again, I had to go back and do some more experimenting, whatever, controlling. And now here it is 2 years after. Randomly open this book that I'd never touched before. Randomly open this. Why would I freaking land on that page? How does that even happen?
Not a coincidence.
So this is why, again, I make a point. I want to make this point clear that in this story, again, this is now not a spotlight on Jackson on State Top. It's really it's now whole focus is now on God's grace, God's faithfulness. And I really again, I'd always believed in God, but I didn't understand God to the degree where to say, God of our understanding. I didn't understand. I just believed in him. That was it. But the minute I saw it's no great trick to stop, the trick is to stay stopped. That's when it hit right there. I knew instantly because my brain went right back to 13. How did that even just happen? So I closed the book a little bit and I go, okay, God. Like I'm in the psych ward and the H&I people there, and I'm just looking at this to myself. And I just said to myself, okay, God. And at that moment, I believe that the grace of God just came right on me at that point, because again, I didn't just quit. Okay. I believe that obsession and craving was removed from me. And I like to really emphasize that to guys that are new, because again, our program tells us That's why we're miracles, because again, most of us were just willing to just die with it. But if we are in recovery, you're within the sound of my voice. If you're on this Rock Bottom podcast, again, this is an opportunity to realize it. It's a realization thing that happens, that I realize that, hey, there's some God faithfulness, there's some grace type stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
And it's my responsibility to stay under it. So I would go on to that point. I saw the stay stop thing, and I just knew from that point, this is my message. This has to be my message from here on out that I have to carry. This is now my responsibility to understand and bring it to people. There's a realization thing that has to occur.
It felt like you had a spiritual moment going through that.
100%, because there's no way 2013 I would hear it, write it down, go back out for 2 more years, get arrested the way I did in the psych ward. You see what I mean? The series of events, you see what I mean? And so again, this stay stop thing is not just, okay, stay stop. Again, it started with, okay, we got to stop drinking and drugging, but it evolved into, how do I handle sobriety? Because that's what in the book said. It said, stay stop. To do that, the very next sentence said, to do that, I'd come to AA to learn how to handle sobriety. And that's the part where I kind of had to embrace. And that was where I was going to need a sponsor. I was going to need somebody else to kind of walk me through this stuff.
So when you got the book while you were
in jail, in
custody, and then
and it's cool because the deputy guy, usually they give the book back to the people and they go on. But I was like, hey, can I keep this book? I asked the deputy guy, and he's like, yeah, you can keep it. So I'd go back into my little cell, because again, I'm in the psych ward and you don't get to have books and all these other things in there. But they let me keep the book, and I laid in that cell and I had a little piece of lead, and I just started underlining every single thing. And I literally had the attitude where I'm going to see something that don't make sense. And even though I saw it, I just was like, this book can't be
trying
for
to
real.
find inaccuracies.
Yeah. I'm like, this can't be for real, for real.
Yeah.
And every single thing I was underlining was just like pinpoint.
Right on the, yeah.
Okay, not even like 100%. So again, I'm not a reader, but again, I didn't have nothing to do while I was in custody, but I just began to read that. And then when I got out.
So you got out, what did you do? How long did it take for you to really get into bringing Stay Stopped into a brand?
So it's cool, right? So now I'm in the program. I decided, okay, hey, I'm going to stay in this program. There's my Stay Stopped message. That was my catalyst right there. That's what I latched onto, because now my mindset while I'm in custody is I gotta do something with this phrase. That has to be a mess, because my brain thought, I go, that's got to be every single dope beans situation. Everyone's walking around in rehab. Everyone's walking around in their addiction thinking, oh, I can't stop. And then I go, it's a realization. We stop all the time.
Yeah.
But that realization doesn't hit, Ryan. And that's why, like I said, that stay thing I felt it all the way to my core.
Yeah.
And I said, I need to get this message out, because literally people don't even realize that God has removed that craving and obsession multiple times. Yeah. There has been multiple times where people have said, I'm done, crushed the pipe, emptied out the last bottle. That's happened to every single one of us. And then what happens? They don't know how to stay. I didn't know how to stay on this path. I didn't understand it. It's going to be taking some responsibility. I'm going to have to go against myself. I'm going to need some sort of a accountability, somebody
in a program.
So when they put me in this program, I decided, okay, that Stay Stop thing is significant. They put me in a rehab out in Long Beach. Shout out to Safe Refuge, super awesome facility. Big Rob, what's happening? Everything that I know and learned in that program came from the big book. Now, rehabs get a bad rap. And again, my business now, I partner with rehabs, but the main reason why I like rehabs is because I came to this realization, what's a rehab's job to do? It's not to make me stop. It's to give me a place to sleep, give me a place to eat, give me a place to kind of really gather my senses and work on my program of recovery. It's my responsibility to get a sponsor, work some steps. It's my responsibility to do that. So if I'm sitting around in a rehab, that's not the rehab's fault. Yeah. So I decided while I'm in that rehab, I'm going to build a business. And that's where it began. I was sanctioned to, or I was sentenced to an 18-month program, okay, in lieu of 3 years in jail. And I decided, okay, this rehab, I'm going to come at it with a purpose. And if you're new, it couldn't be, I got to go do rehab and then get out and go back to work. That was going to be a fail. And so many people in rehab, they do that. And find a purpose. We have a purpose now. We're in recovery. We have a real live purpose to tell our story and to get out there and connect with the community in a way that's most beneficial, that we could find a purpose, either create a job or create an organization, or get connected with an organization who is doing something involved with that. So, and it was really important for me to build this brand, and I needed this brand to be something that was going to keep me connected with society. So I said, I'm going to make this a clothing brand. And I don't know where that came from, other than the fact that I used to wear Dickies all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dickies.
You're already into fashion.
Yeah. So that little red label, on the Dickies, that was pretty significant to me.
Forgot that.
I said, I'm going to make, I don't even have.
You want like a stamp that says,
I wanted to create a label. So I would lay there in my
rehab. Your hat right there. Yeah.
And I would create, when I was sat in that rehab for the whole year. So I was sentenced to 18-month program. So I was 1 year in rehab. Again, I was still doing what's called vet court. Shout out to Veterans Treatment Court. Again, shout out to Veterans Treatment Court. That place is awesome. I'm a mentor there now for the other soldiers that come through there.
That's awesome.
Because again, they tolerated me going through it. Again, I was so resistant, and I got sanctioned so many times because, again, I still had this attitude. I wasn't taking my meds properly. I wasn't going to my counseling. I was showing up to group late. I still had this freestyle type of an attitude going on. Yeah. And every time it was no playing. If I was late, if I talked back, I'd hang up. Sanction this time was just like, you go do the loop. You are going to book you back into custody, but they were going to release you at 6 o'clock the next morning. So that's how they did the sanctions in this program. That helped me a lot, bro, because here I was going back to custody 10 different times. I got sanctioned 10 times. And it took me, because the first 3 times I was like, I'm good. And I'm like that. But here it is 10 times later. I'm like, okay, I'm good now. Yeah. So I ended up graduating that program 3 years later. It was supposed to be an 18-month program, but it took me 3 years because I was that defiant to it all. Yeah. And they wouldn't let me out. I thought for sure you're out of here. But no, they put me on program hold. They put me on sanctions. So finally I was able to really sit with myself. And I said, the whole time I'm still trying to build Stay Stop as a business. I wanted to make it a t-shirt company. I wanted the cool labels and everything. But the mindset was, I want to create this brand. So when I go back out into society, I want to see us out there. The message of staying stopped again had to be more than just, hey, bro, don't drink. It had to be more than just, hey, bro, stay sober. It had to be, how do I stay stopped? And stay stopped again. How do I stop going back to my old behavior? How do I stop trying to fight addiction? I can't beat addiction. I can't beat drugs. Yeah. Again, I get whooped by it every time. So I didn't want that to be the fight. I needed to understand that Stay Stop really meant, how can I learn how to handle sobriety? How can I learn how to do this? So now let's get the brand out there. Let's put the undertones to it. What does the Stay Stop brand mean?
And you're learning how to stay stopped while creating a brand called Stay Stop.
Exactly. And it came so beautifully because, again, I was so fortunate enough to get my first sponsor that he just knew the pages of the big book. And I'd ask him, I'd go to him and be like, well, this, and this happened. And he goes, okay, go to page 63. I said, well, what about when this? Oh, go to page 67. Yeah. So it wasn't like he was telling, but he put it on me to go find out.
Exactly.
And then it was my willingness that made me go find out. So again, all this time I'm learning how, okay, God's been faithful to me because he removed that craving and obsession. And for some reason now, I have a willingness to learn. I want to learn more about this 12-step thing.
Yeah.
I don't want to learn I already know don't drink. I need more than that.
Yep.
I need more than that. Not drinking, being sober is not going to do it for me, bro.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm sitting here, I'm still frustrated. I still got anger. I still got resentment. And by the way, I didn't know what the word resentment meant.
Yeah.
I heard it before, but apparently
Never wanted to get to know it.
Apparently resentment's the number one offender. So apparently, I had to learn how to deal with that. And it wasn't don't have a resentment. It's don't harbor resentment.
Yeah.
So little intricacies like that, I had to learn. And that's why, again, the way I sponsor now, I just, like I said, I like to break down word to word
Yeah.
because a lot of guys, all due respect, a lot of guys in today's era of generation, if you will, they really don't know how to either read or comprehend. Again,
Mhm.
I'm not, busting on them or anything, but that's something that I've experienced where there's a lot of people that don't have the education or comprehension that I do.
Yeah.
How that happened, again, I think God just gave me a little bit of insight to that as well. So I would like to get with guys that are new and you may not think you don't know how to read or you don't understand things. We're going to walk through it one word at a time. And that's kind of like the energy. And that's my answer or my faithfulness back to God. And again, I make it clear that I'm trying to stay under God's grace because I can come out of it anytime I want to. That's what selfishness does. And then I understand now there's this self that's simply trying to connect to something. And if self is going to connect to self, there's my ego. And now my ego is going to say, you know what? I believe in you, God, but you can go over there. And I had to figure out how to be on the watch for that.
There's a snowball effect, and then once you get that attitude, it's like one day you'd be like, I'm just gonna smoke a rock again.
And it will again. And that's why I say I'm never drinking or using again.
Yeah,
Because it could happen at any given moment. So
I believe in that statement.
Yeah.
Never say never. I mean,
I'll never.
I like to think, hey, I'm just not drinking today.
Yeah, even just down because again, the whole concept of me sitting there thinking that, okay, if I drink, I'm going to die, or to drink is a die. Okay, so what? Again,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, you drink, you die. It says in the book, right?
So I
Yeah.
needed to understand, how can I make Stay Stop embody something more than just stop drinking and drugging?
Yeah.
Stay Stop had to evolve into how can I stop going back to my old behaviors,
Yeah.
my old way of thinking, because my old ideas are still there. I've known the old Jackson for way longer than I've known this 10-year-old Jackson. You see what I mean? So I'm trying to understand and I continue to carry this message. That's why I'm glad you got this podcast thing going. This rock bottom thing again. My rock bottom came when I just decided, you know what? I want to start learning now.
Yeah.
It wasn't rock bottom. I can't drink no more. It was, okay, I'm rock bottom. I burned myself to the ground.
It wasn't rock bottom. Hey, I got arrested for raging. It was mainly just that realization.
The realization that,
Yeah.
look, my behaviors are just completely out of control.
Yeah.
Again, key word, it was a realization.
Mhm.
And you can't blow over that word realization. You can't let it go because realization makes a difference. It's also referred to as an awakening.
Yeah.
So again, pay attention to those words, pay attention to what's going on in your day to day, because rock bottom is when you finally realize that my way is not working. And not just that now I want to grow. Again, rock bottom for me had to be, okay, now I got a foundation. Let's begin building. It has to be, let's begin building, because now it's my responsibility to build that.
Yeah.
It can't just be, rock bottom, like it's a bad thing. It's rock bottom. Boom, let's build.
Time to build on.
Let's
Yeah.
build. You see what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's why I said I wanted to get with you, man, because this is no BS. This is recovery at the fullest.
Yep.
Rock bottom is where we begin to build. It's not this devastating place. It's not, I'm so rock bottom. My life is so terrible. We got a nice foundation.
Yeah.
Let's rebuild.
Only up from here. Yeah.
Let's rebuild. And that's why, again, there's a context that people say, you don't have to. Okay, whatever. Rock bottom is this. I'm ready to rebuild. I'm ready to start practicing a new way of thinking. Watch, ask, discuss, turn. I'll tell you about that one. Ready? Watch, ask, discuss, turn.
Watch, ask, discuss, turn.
Stay tuned. That'll be on part 2.
Okay, I got to hear about that. So you were mentioning something
Yes.
earlier about recovery and responsibility. Can you
Yes,
explain
sir.
that?
So recovery, again, it's my daily response. So all I get is a 24-hour reprieve. That's a new word as well. This reprieve thing. Reprieve, temporary stay of punishment. Again, all of these fancy words in recovery. And I needed to understand, what do you mean? All I got is daily, just for today, right? Just for today is all I got. So what are we going to do today? Okay. So my recovery is now my responsibility. It can't just be, okay, I'm not going to drink today. No matter what, just don't drink. How about no matter what? Let's ask God to, control and direct our thinking. How about let's ask, no matter what, ask God to divorce me from self-pity, dishonest, self-seeking motives. Again, these are all foreign practices, yet they could be very effective. It's what I've found very effective. So again, I like to also switch it up. I don't tell people what to do. I share with people what I've been practicing. So again, I take responsibility for,
Suggestions
yeah,
or
it's my
ideas.
responsibility to build this life in recovery. And I know it's going to be a lifelong process, one day at a time. But again, I still have to be responsible enough to say, look, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. It's not future tripping. Some people say, oh, it's just one day at a time. No, you got to make a decision that this is going to be your way of living for the rest of your life. That's why I said there's a distinction between a person living in recovery and a person who's just sober.
Yeah.
I needed to understand I got to take responsibility for the rest of my life, not just for a couple of months or a couple of years. I got to say, okay, look, I want this recovery way of life, which means every single day I got to invite God. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have any clue. I thought, I believe in God. I don't got no problem with God. I didn't understand. I'm supposed to ask him, God, can you come on, God, I'll offer myself to thee. I didn't understand that that was the context of part of my recovery. I didn't understand that building this life meant well, also going to be, hey, I'm going to have to help other people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to have to be a testimony. I'm going to have to be an encourager. Well, it's exhausting, Ryan. You know how exhausting helping other people is? Especially when 1 out of 10 don't even give a.
Yep.
But again, that's not my business. Those other 9 are not my business. The thing is, I don't know who that one is.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? So if I continue to go in, and I get discouraged lots of times, but if I'm getting discouraged, that's because I think that I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the thing. I got to understand that my job is just to be there, just to be there, just to be that hand out. I want the hand of this 12-step program, be it NA, be it NAA. Again, I don't get caught up on those A's either, because again, I'm a 12-stepper. Sometimes I go to Narcotics Anonymous meetings and I say I'm an addict. Sometimes I go to an AA meeting and I say I'm an alcoholic. That's just the fellowship. I can intertween.
We're all like-minded people.
Yeah, I can intermix with either one of those fellowships. But again, my core is a 12-step.
Mm-hmm.
My core, I stay 12 steps. Shout out to Larry. I stay 12 steps in front of Jackson on a daily basis, because I'm clear that at any given moment, I can say, you know what? This is stupid. I've done it so many other times.
And has that happened very often in the last 10 years?
And it happens every now and then.
Yeah.
It does. Like I said, I'm 10 years, 11 years coming up in May, Lord willing, God willing. But yeah, that still creeps in.
Yep.
And it's not in the form of, I'm going to go get loaded. It's in the form of, I don't need to stay connected to you people.
That's kind of the resting on the laurels thing,
I don't need to go out there and meet a newcomer. I don't need to go do a panel. I don't need to go into rehabs and talk and tell some encouragement. I don't need to do, and again, that's literally my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
From here on out. Something happened to me where that obsession and craving was lifted. And I'll have a thought about it every now and then. I was cruising through Santa Ana, one of the, little cities over here. And I saw, dude, they're just blatantly out on the street. They just will smoke a bowl in the middle of the street nowadays. And I remember driving by it, and I slowed down and I wanted to take a little peek. What do we call it? Living vicariously. And that's happened on 2 different occasions where in the street, I was driving and I see somebody with a bowl, and I want to stop and just look, because I'm familiar with that, bro. And again, but again, my brain goes, I don't do that anymore.
Nope.
But man, it's something I'm familiar with. I'm more familiar with that dude smoking that bowl than I am trying to help a newcomer or practice a program or ask God.
That's
or
what
do
you
my
knew
prayer.
for, that many years, and I've only been sober for this many years.
Exactly. So that's why, like I said, I do this thing on a daily basis. And again, I didn't know it was supposed to be daily. I thought it could be weekly or monthly. But every day I wake up in the morning, I can't not do my 3rd-step prayer, Ryan.
That was my next question. What is 24 hours like now?
Now, like I said, I'm up 4:30 in the morning, feet hit the floor. I'm 3rd-step prayer, whether I realize it or not. That's gotta come out of my body, out of my mouth, somewhere. That has to be done.
Yep.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And if I don't, I just know
I like the days off.
I've locked in this mindset where if I don't do that, I'm not going to be okay. So I go into that, then I do a 6 a.m. early bird meeting, either on Zoom or I go in person. and then I'm back to work and get my day started. I talk to newcomers throughout the day. I text them, I chat with them. Again, I go to Salvation Army. Shout out to Salvation Army. Shout out to Roger. Shout out to Salvation Army again.
That's where I go to my meeting is at a Salvation Army.
Bro, I'm
yeah.
so stoked with the Salvation Army. Again, I know that that's a place for me. Shout out to Came to Believe program as well. I work with those guys as well. But again, it's just ongoing interaction because again, I'm a dope fiend, Ryan. Again, I'm not even clear. Just like I had this thing where I got a headache. I was getting a headache, and so because I ate sugar, I ate a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to. I'm diabetic.
Mm.
But I don't like saying that, bro.
Yeah.
But the bars, my body reacts differently to sugar.
Yeah.
And then I kind of click. I was like tripping. I'm like, that's kind of like alcoholic. It's like, I didn't want to say I'm an alcoholic. I want to be able to have my sugar, have my alcohol or whatever. But my body reacts differently when I put alcohol in it. That's the only reason I'm an alcoholic. If I put dope, my body reacts differently. If I put alcohol, again, so that's the whole context of being alcoholic. It's not this identity thing that I'm locked under. It's just that I know that as a diabetic, when I have too much sugar, I'm going to get a headache. I have to steer clear. Whenever I do indulge in sugar, I get the consequences. So I'm going to have to, I'm kind of working on that one too right now.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I said, I just love the fact, you put this platform up here for us all. And I've seen a lot of your people that you talk to and chat with.
Thank you for keeping up on it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, big time. But again, like I said, I just really, my whole agenda in 2026, I'm trying to bring this narrative to the whole concept of recovery. Again, let's learn how to do recovery. Learn recovery. You see what I mean? Learn how to live. Again, it's so much more than just not drinking. It's so much more. I got thoughts and ideas that are still creeping in. And the thoughts are typically the ism. And my sponsor has a big thing with the acronyms. Ism is I separate myself.
Oh, I need to use that one.
And then the other ism is I sabotage myself.
Yep.
Again, now these are all sober conditions.
I know.
And then there's I self-medicate. Well, I was self-medicating with food and sugar for a minute, and I started realizing that too. So I had to be careful for the isms because the isms happen when I'm sober. And that's where, again, it's got to be focused more on recovery because now there's no drugs or alcohol in me. So that's not the issue anymore. Being sober is not the issue. I'm trying to understand how to deal with my thought processes. Watch, ask, discuss, turn. Remember that one?
Yep. Wow.
Watch, ask, discuss, turn. Page 84. Check it out when you get.
Okay.
Shout out page 84. Watch, ask, discuss, and turn. Check it out. Right. Yeah.
Cool.
And I noticed over here you got a mirror that caught my eye.
Yeah.
Looks like a stop sign, huh?
Yeah, it does. That's crazy.
I'm crazy.
No, I mean,
shout out to the mirror.
The coincidence is I'm going to have to take a picture of it and add it to the episode now. But it's crazy. Stay stopped,
And again, that stay stopped thing, again, it's really, it was divinely inspired. And again, like I said, I needed to be able to reach people in recovery. So I decided to make my business a apparel brand, an apparel brand services where we go out and we want to meet every single rehab center across the nation. And we want to be your apparel provider. Again,
That's great.
You got a logo, bring it to us. You're getting your stuff printed somewhere. You're getting your stuff embroidered somewhere. We want to be the brand that partners with you as your apparel provider. Our brand embodies recovery. It has the spirit of recovery. And we just really believe there's a psychological thing that goes on when you put on a Stay Stop branded deal and you can still represent what you're doing. Like Rock Bottom with Ryan. Like I said, you're out there in the trenches with these guys. You're giving us a platform to come and talk about our testimony on how God restored us, how he pulled us from that gates of hell. And that's why, like I said, I wanted to take this opportunity to thank you, Knuckle Up and everything.
Oh, thank you.
Because again, this is real life, real stuff right here.
No, man, I appreciate it. Like, seriously, I love what you're doing with the brand. And Stay Stopped is something where you're trying to really work with recovery centers and work with other brands and platforms that
everything organization that's recovery based. We want to partner with them in some sort. And if you don't want your gear printed or made through us, like I said, keep us in mind. Because again, we want to I got a team of guys that I sponsor that we want to do panels. We want to go into, like I said, Salvation Armies and be able to be a testimony. Again, these platforms are not, hey, look at me, Jackson. This is, hey, look at how God's grace, look at how God's faithfulness, has changed our lives right now. And I know at any given moment, my gratitude, this is my gratitude in action right here.
Yeah.
I'm not just grateful. I have the responsibility on page 193 to tell the story of where the hell that I was at, the hell that I'd resigned to the point where God said, no, I need you to do one more thing, bro. And me saying, okay, I'll take that responsibility. And that's where it begins. And every single day, I embrace that responsibility and have a willingness to grow and continue learning.
It's amazing. And I see that it says stay humble on some of your shirts and all that, which humility is everything when it comes to
Big
recovering
time.
and staying stopped.
And I made that my brand kicker right there.
I like it.
Because 7-step was my game changer as well. 7-step, the principle of step 7 is humility.
Yep.
And I didn't understand that word humility again.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I had no idea. But when I read, humbly ask, that's where it paused me right there. And I didn't realize
to remove your shortcomings.
Yeah, but it was like humbly ask. And again, I didn't know I'm supposed to ask God all the time.
Yeah.
Watch, ask, discuss, turn. Watch, ask, discuss, turn. I didn't know I was supposed to ask God. So humility is a little gentle reminder. It's not, oh, be humble.
Yeah.
It's, hey, humbly ask him. Self doesn't want me asking God. Self doesn't want me inviting God into my life. Self said, bro, you handle this yourself, bro. You handle yourself. Staying humble is just my reminder. And again, it means something different to other people. That's cool. But to Jackson and stay humble is learning how to humbly ask God into my life and to say, hey, God, can you remove that defect? Hey, I'm feeling a little bit resentful. Hey, I'm in fear right now, God. Can you remove that fear? That's not a natural process.
Yeah.
Watch, ask, discuss. Again, and that humility also makes me willing to go discuss it with someone as well. Hey, sponsor. Hey, brother in recovery. I'm feeling a little discouraged today. See what I mean?
Yep.
Now it's up to us I got to turn my thoughts. So together, me and you, we can help each other turn those thoughts. Watch, ask, discuss, turn. And the whole watch part is where I'm in daily. Watch out for Jackson, bro. That self is, I'm not cured. I'm not cured, Ryan. Yeah. I'm not cured. I am recovered. I'm a recovered dope fiend, recovered alcoholic, because my body doesn't fiend and obsess for that dope like it used to for freaking 20 years.
Yeah.
So I can confidently say, by the grace of God, I have recovered, but I'm not cured because self is still trying to muscle back in. And when self starts to muscle back in, I see when I'm in fear. I see when I'm in discouragement. I can see when I'm in resentment. That's my responsibility to call it and then ask God, stay humble. Ask God to remove it. Step 5 said, admitted to God, myself, and other human being. Step 6 said, are entirely ready to have God remove the defects. God removes the defects. I don't. Step 7 said, humbly ask. So there are 3 different parts that's telling me who's going to take away these defects and stuff. And I'm not one of those persons. I'm not one of them. So stay humble had to be front and center for our brand, because I needed to understand that humility is my humility to God. It's going to keep self in check. And I have to have something to remind me to keep self in check, because self is not cured. And self is very cunning, powerful, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Yep. That's what self is. They say alcohol is cunning, baffling, powerful. I say self is cunning, baffling, and powerful, because anytime all the belief that I have in God, can you excuse me? I can dismiss God anytime. And that's weird to me, because I would think, but he's God, no, God's a gentleman. And if I don't invite him in, I can dismiss God in a minute.
Yeah. And he'll be like, all right, let's see what Jackson's going to do right now.
You step back. And that's why, like I said, that humility reminds me, hey, look, we're going to work with God today, Jackson. We're going to work with God. 3rd step, got to offer myself to thee to build with me and to do with me. And that little with word lit up as well for me. That one little word, like, okay, this is an effort. This is a joint effort here. I didn't know that before. I thought I had to just go through life on my own, and it's really foreign. It's not natural for me to say, Lord, I need you to take away this craving or this resentment. Lord, I need you to take away this fear. That's not natural. That feels weird even to me right now. So again, my 3rd step prayer, my 7th step prayer taught me how to have a dialogue with God. So I start my day with a thirst at prayer. And then throughout the day, I can say little things like, okay, Lord, or I can pray with people today. That's a new thing for me, but I love praying for people or praying with people today. That guys that I sponsor, let's pray. Let's pray. Again, new stuff, but I do it. I don't care how weird or awkward it is. I do it.
Yeah.
And I
it's
believe
necessary and it's working.
totally. So again, that's the stay humble thing. Again, it reminds me that my faithfulness is right back to God because God was faithful to me. So I want to remember to humbly ask him to remove any shortcoming because my defects are now front and center.
Yep.
I do them still, but the duration is shorter. That's why it's a shortcoming.
Yeah.
So I had to embrace that too. I'm like, okay, I'm still going to act the fool sometimes. And when I start acting the fool, I can see it. And oh, God, I'm doing it again. God, I'm doing it again. And God's not going to take it away just like that. He does sometimes. But while I'm waiting for him, I'll call somebody and say, hey, Ryan, I'm acting the fool again, bro. You should see what I just did. I did it again. Again, these are the things that keep me in a humble state. And all humility is doing, it's allowing me to grow just for today. Just for today, bro.
I like it. That's well said, honestly. Humility. And what advice would you give to like sober curious listeners right now that are hearing like what? I mean, you have a lot of advice already, but what's some closing advice?
Just get interested, man. Like I said, you got to be interested in recovery. And if you're not interested, again, that just says you haven't gotten interested in it yet. So explore it. Explore recovery. Explore it. Like I said, it's interesting. And that's why, again, you can go through any of these podcasts and you hear all these testimonies that's out there. You have your own personal story. If you're new in this program, you have your own personal story. If you've been challenged with this thing in addiction, there's also a challenge in recovery, but there's a we program. There's a we thing going on. You don't have to do this by yourself anymore. Yeah. I thought it was just me against the world. So if you're new, if you're curious, just understand there's somebody that's waiting to meet you to relate to your story. And you guys can all of a sudden walk through this journey together.
Work together, yeah.
And again, that's, I think, is really the most powerful thing. If you're sober curious or you're curious about recovery, just understand that this hell that you've gone through to this point is because you now have a story to tell, and there's somebody else out there, just one other person is waiting to hear your story. And you may think you have nothing to do, or what can you do to help them? They just want to know your name, bro. Watch this. You literally tell them, hey, I'm Jackson. Good to meet you. Here's my phone number. Give me a call if you ever want to talk. I'm here to listen.
Yeah.
And I say, because I don't have the answer, bro. Again, I'm here to listen. And God knows I pray for people today. They tell us, some of us came to scoff, but many of us remain to pray. Something to that degree. Yeah. Founders of AA said something like that. Again, I pray for you because I know, God rest her soul, my mom prayed for me to be here today and to live this life. And I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I'm living that life. My daughter, she's graduating high school this year.
Awesome. She's proud of you.
Total, man. And then my stepson, shout out to Gianna and Angel. I mean, both of these kids are doing well. They've all seen me grow. But again, I've put those people through torture. My daughter's mother, Jessica, again, shout out to Jessica, super mom. I mean, our parenting, we co-parent with each other today in the most respectful way. It's a healthy co-parenting thing. We just celebrated Thanksgiving together. We celebrated Christmas together. They did their thing with New Year's, but again, we're daily communication with each other. Even though it's not the ideal scene, I always wanted to be that present father.
Yeah.
I blew that, and that was her option to, not reunify the family. I kind of dealt with that resentment for about 2 years, but I was able to see that, okay, this is working out the way it's supposed to work out right now. Now again, we have a great relationship.
That's awesome. So good to hear. Honestly, I appreciate and respect everything you're doing, honestly, not just for the recovery community, but with the apparel and just working with everybody. And your message is amazing.
Like I said, it's finally a purpose. And if you're new too, like I said, find a purpose. Again, it seems so foreign and so it's a challenge of our lives to have this opportunity to find a purpose. But the purpose literally is under recovery. It's something in recovery. That disease, that addiction, that alcohol, the drugs, they've been removed from us. It's been removed. And you now can create your own purpose. Recovery is personal. Recovery is not selfish. I've heard that phrase too. This is a selfish No, it's personal. Recovery is very personal.
I like that more, actually.
It's
Personal
so,
sounds better.
but yeah, and I know that's what they mean when they say that.
Yeah.
But I'm really meticulous with the word thing. So when they stand so strong and say, it's a selfish program, you got to take, what they're really saying, and what I like to say is, look, this is a very personal thing for me right now. This is my personal growth that I'm trying to establish here and maintain. And I needed to understand my next function is to grow in effectiveness and in understanding so that I can get out there with a purpose. I'm not useless no more.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not useless. There's literally, I have a story of encouragement. I was a dope fiend for 20 years. I chased, without exaggeration, I chased a sack, bro. I chased dope for 20 years. And for some reason, over the last 10 years, bro, that's been all God's faithfulness, bro.
Yeah.
I've not found it necessary to pick up.
That's amazing. Seriously. And then everybody you meet in recovery, everybody has the same goal, which is to stay stopped. So
everybody has to, but you got to realize that stay is a lot of responsibility. To stay on this path, it's going to mean you're going to have to go against yourself. I go against myself, Ryan, every single day. I have to go against myself. And that sounds like a bad thing, but in actuality, it's a going to myself, because all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to take myself and connect it with God multiple times a day. Multiple times. When I get in traffic, I disconnect. Then I have to snap back into it. So again, it's an ongoing realignment. That's another word I like to use too. Is recovery is a daily realignment. It's a daily realignment, because we're going to drift. That faith is going to fade.
Life's still going to happen.
Life is coming at you sideways, upside down, inside out. And that's only means that there's other people that may not be on our path, and we come across with it. And then we get to stop and go, whoa, that person's not on my same path. So when I say life is difficult, I'm saying that the interactions with my exterior are not in line with where I'm trying to go. So I use the phrase, life is so hard. Yeah. Okay, well, go back internally and realize, hey, look, we got a purpose today. Let me place myself where I know I could be useful. Salvation Army, a rehab center, you know what I mean? Speaking on a panel, going into jails. We have a whole community where we can be useful, because for some reason we don't find it necessary to get loaded. But I do have to take that responsibility. That stay factor. I call it the stay factor. I'm coming up with a new.
I'm liking your use of words here. Yeah, it's been really creative.
I'm big on words, but I'm coming up with a deal called the stay factor on Instagram. My main Instagram is stay.stop.
I was gonna say, shout out your
shout out to stay.stop. Follow me, check me out. A lot of good content. I'm also in the process of 2026. I'm going to bring the stay factor to the front line too. The stay factor, I'm going to just do, I don't know. We're going to do
stay factor. I like it.
Yeah, excuse me, the stay factor. But again, it's really just rooted in the fact that, look, it's going to take something more than just me. It's going to take a community. And then again, that's what we're trying to do. Find that community. It's personal. Pick your people. Pick your new friends. Pick your new people who are just fanatical about recovery. Not fanatical, but are just really just fired up.
Committed.
Committed. That's the word.
Yeah. No, I like it. No, I appreciate you joining the show, and I'll pop some on the episode. You brought me some awesome clothing. Like, I think Stay Stopped onto something really good. Really grateful for.
And I know I probably forgot to say a lot of stuff, but hey,
not at all, man.
This is it. I hope I really did. Again, you
did amazing.
That little watch ass discussing turn I keep on.
I know.
Putting out there.
It's getting imprinted in my brain.
Because that to me, it's what I called. I made it the 12-step hack.
Yeah.
Watch ass discuss turn. It's basically a step 10. It's all 12 steps, basically. Watch, ask, discuss, turn. So again, I'm going to kind of leave that to the listeners out there to do your homework, explore what that means to you. And again, and that's what it is. What does recovery mean to you? You know what I mean? It's your own personal concept. It can't be just not drinking and drugging. It has to be, what can we give back?
I love
to
that.
the person who's still lost.
Yep.
That's all it was. I was lost. Now I'm found. Praise God. Praise God for that.
Thanks for being on the show, man.
Thank you,
You
bro.
said it all. Really
Thank you, bro.
appreciate you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Close.
Rock Bottom with Ryan. No bullshit, just recovery.